Hey, it's me. It's animated me. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and it's time for another episode of Completed It. Movie reviews, pop culture, celebrity guests, and all that good stuff. Oh, and my good friend over there, Sasha Alari, as my co-host. Hey, Satch, hit the titles, brother. Hey everybody, welcome back to Completed It. We've got to the end of another week and we are here with another movie review. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and as you can see, we've got him twice this week. I can't believe it. We've tied him down for two shows. Jonathan Noakes, Johnny, how are you, mate? We've reached the
I'm
end of the
okay,
week.
mate.
How are you, brother? Happy
Yeah, all
Friday,
good.
sir. Happy Friday to you, my friend. About a week ago, I went and saw The Smashing Machine. You saw it when it very first come out. We are here to talk all things The Smashing Machine with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, starring as Mark Kerr. It is the Mark Kerr story, a film all about his life. Now, I don't even think you needed to be a fan of the UFC to go and seen this film. This film, I think it had a budget of around $50 million. The opening weekend, John, it only opened with 6 million worldwide. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
fuck. Uh, First of all, let's get your thoughts on the film. It was basically the Mark Kerr story. So for anyone that doesn't know, and again, spoilers here in this review, Mark Kerr, very famous Bellator UFC fighter, was right at the very, very beginning when UFC was in its infancy. If you remember back to the days when UFC first started, it literally blew everyone away because there were no rules, basically. If you wanted to see bare knuckle fighting, if you wanted to see eye gouging, if you wanted to see hair pulling, if you wanted to see everything, UFC let everything go in the first, what, probably decade of, no, not a decade, probably a bit of a lie, that, probably about the first 7 to 8 years. I might be wrong. Someone will let me know in the comments. Anything could go in UFC, and Mark Kerr was humongous in Bellator, in Japan, in the UFC. This movie is essentially it is the story of his life. It starts off with him winning everything, being great, absolutely loving life, to then hitting on us on the part of his life with this substance abuse and the issues that he had with his then girlfriend Dawn Staples, played by the amazing Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt was absolutely fantastic in this movie. But this movie really does hit home for those that I don't get why people are really shitting on this movie, because I always find when you try and tell the story of someone's life that it's true to their life, and you don't Hollywood it too much. And everything that I've read, and I know a lot about Mark Kerr and stuff, and what he went through, etc., etc. Um, this movie was probably as true a movie to someone's life as you can get, and it really did highlight the substance abuse, his relationship. As much as they focused on the in octagon stuff, in ring stuff that they did, and it was all about how he handled his first ever defeat and how he come back from substance abuse and how he had to go to rehab, etc., etc. This movie really was a true to life documentation of someone's life. I've seen many films where it's someone's life story or this, and this, and you think, fucking hell, that's been Hollywooded up way too much. I thought The Rock did a tremendous, tremendous job telling us the story of Mark Kerr. And it probably did help that he's come from a wrestling background, that he's come from a fighting
Yeah.
background, that he's been involved in that environment. What did you think of the movie, John? And has it amazed you that how it hasn't done as well in the box office?
Yeah, I was quite shocked because I think I'll probably put this in my top 10 films of the year. I tried looking past Dwayne Johnson's thought to see if I could see some of the rock in there, but I couldn't see him in it at all.
Did he shave his head at the end?
Yeah, apart from that,
Did
as
he
you're
look like The
saying,
Rock?
yeah, as you're saying, Emily Blunt's character played it well. She's sarcastic.
Yeah, Dawn
I
Staples,
think
she
she
played
was
the
more of the
girlfriend.
bully than Mark Kerr was. But if you said like this was down to 99.9% of what actually happened, Mark Kerr wasn't really a bad guy.
No, he just got caught up. I mean, you can tell
Yeah,
from the start of the
it was
movie
just
when he's with the
unlucky,
kids. Yeah, He got
Yeah.
caught up in a world, and then you have to think back when UFC started, and me and you we're big wrestling fans, and you go back to the wrestling of the 80s and the early 90s. Let's not beat around the bush. Substance abuse was a thing, and there's no way that you can be on the road 365. No way you can do shows like they were doing in the UFC and the WWE back in the WWF back in the day, 7 days a week, without taking some form of substance abuse. That's not me sitting here, shitting on anyone for what they do. They make their own life choices. But, Mark Kerr looked like he went down a road. He generally was a nice guy. And even in the
Mm.
movie, the way The Rock portrayed it is when he come across as like when he was ringing his doctors, when he was in Japan and he was trying to, the scene where he was chatting to the guy, the doctor, the Japanese doctor, and he was like, "Have you got anything stronger?" And the guy was like, "Nope, haven't got anything stronger." And even when he tried to get the medication, he was like, he didn't want to pay for it. He didn't want to go through the health insurance because if you do, then you've got to declare what you're having, yada yada yada. And he was like, "Look, I'll just." He would rather pay for it so he knew that he was getting what he needed because he was in so much pain or he was addicted to the medication, to the whatever it was that he needed to take, to the substances that he needed to take to stay Jack, to stay being Mark Kerr. He was so into protecting that image of Mark Kerr. Look at the way he reacted when he lost his first fight. You mentioned the Emily Blunt character there, played the girlfriend Dawn Staples. What a tremendous role! Let's just talk briefly about the Emily Blunt in this film. Fucking hell, I thought amazing. One of the best films I've seen her in, and I don't think she knows how to make a bad film. She is fucking amazing. What did you make of the whole side of that side of it? Because they kind of turned her, because you mentioned there he was such a nice guy, is such a nice guy. They kind of turned her into the quote unquote bully, and when you flip it and you think, no one's bullying Mark Kerr. But there comes down to that emotional bullying that she was getting frustrated with him because she was like saying, "Look, you're just jealous that I can go out, I can party, I can see my friends, I can drink. You can't do any of this. You need to shove needles in your arms. You're addicted to these. You need to come off these painkillers." And they started off from the film of her being very sympathetic and to at the end of the film her pretty much fucking hating him because of the substance abuse, and then they flip it and they get back together and yada yada yada. The way this story was told, yes, it's the Mark Kerr story, but they really did go into in depth with that side of his life with the girlfriend. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like from her perspective. If there was like I don't know, like a being John Malkovich, and it was like seeing it from her point of view. And they always say like the bigger you are, the harder you fall. But it's like she knew that he had a really sensitive side, and she wanted to hurt him as much as possible.
Mm.
That's the way I saw her character, and yeah, she played the role brilliantly. Complete, she was a complete bitch to him in it, and I was like, wait a minute, he's fucking big old guy, and he's gets put down. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Apart from Dwayne Johnson in it, she was probably the second best thing that come out of this film.
Yeah, let's talk about Dwayne Johnson playing the character of Mark Kerr. Dwayne Johnson over the years has some people either love him or hate him as an actor. What do you think of Dwayne Johnson, the actor? Me and you grew up with. You can't see it here, but I've got a Brahma bull tattooed there, which is what The Rock had when he was a wrestler. He's now got it covered up and he's got his tribal tattoos. Dwayne Johnson, he's a bit Marmite. You either love him or you hate him as an actor. Bear in mind, this was the guy that took the risk to leave wrestling at its pomp when it was Austin, Rock, etc. And he went off and made done the Mummy, and then got offered his first ever role in the Scorpion King as
Yeah,
a lead. Took a big risk then, because many wrestlers have done it. You can go back to the 80s when Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper, etc., were in movies. They were more seen as wrestlers acting. Has The Rock got to the stage where he is an actor that now does wrestling? Because we're now, John, me and you are quite old now. I've met some people that are like, "Oh, did The Rock needs to wrestle?" And I'm like, "What?" you know, I
we call
thought that,
them marks.
yeah, we do. But he played this role of Mark Kerr. Did his wrestling background help him with this role?
Yeah, oh yeah, it did. The muscle on that. Yeah, definitely did. He had the background for it.
Yeah, but Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
it? Oh,
brain.
oh, no, that's right, mate. No, but
No,
I'm just
no,
saying.
sorry.
Obviously, he grew up in an industry
Yeah,
where he's around wrestlers. You know, he loves the UFC. He's worked with the. He's not done any. Obviously, he's not competed in the UFC, but he's made many times. He's been at UFC events. He loves the UFC. Obviously, he's good friends with Mark Kerr. So, getting to play this role for Dwayne Johnson was probably there was probably more pressure on this role than he's not ever had because any Hollywood movie you do or anything you do in life, there's pressure, especially when you're Dwayne Johnson. I thought he'd done this role so well though. I thought it was fucking brilliant. I don't get why people have not liked this movie for whatever fucking reason. But coming back to my question, is The Rock underrated as an actor for you? Because I think he is. I think he's done some great films, but people see him as a modern day Arnie. That's not a bad thing.
nah, he's
Arnie Schwarzenegger got typecast tremendously. Jason Statham gets typecast tremendously. The Rock, he's done comedy, he's done serious, he's now done a life story of Mark Kerr. He's done everything. He admits he's made fucking shit like Doom, but name me an actor that hasn't made a bad movie. They're very few and far between. I'm sure if you looked deep into the archives, Denzel Washington's made a bad movie. Dwayne Johnson for me, the Smashing Machine, and by the way, it's called Smashing Machine. For those of you who don't know, that's Mark Kerr's nickname as a fighter. This is one of the best rock Dwayne Johnson movies I've ever seen. Does he get a bad rap?
he'll always be typecast as the Rock, the wrestler. He will do for the rest of his career. But I think this is I said this to myself. Oh man, this film is gonna catapult him to get him roles that he wouldn't expect to do. Like he needs to step away from the tough guy image, do something like this more sensitive, where people are thinking, "Oh, wait a minute." Like I said before, Brendan Fraser won a Oscar for The Whale, which for some reason I've not seen. It's not out there to buy. I've not seen it anywhere. He was known for his comedic performances, tough guy image from The Mummy. He
Hmm.
does this, wins an Oscar. I'm hoping that history repeats itself, but I think
You put in
him.
our group chat when you first saw this movie could get Dwayne Johnson an Oscar. Did you rate it that highly, that his performance, that you think this is Oscar worthy? Because that's a huge statement.
I did, but then when you spoke just now about Emily Blunt, I think she's probably going to get nominated. I might be
She,
speaking a bit too far, but
yeah.
yeah, I think she will get one.
Okay.
But I think Rock
Okay.
will get. I think he'll get nominated. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Ryan Bardo, is it? I don't know how you pronounce his second name. Played the character of Mark Coleman. Obviously, one of the most famous UFC Bellator fighters of all time. What did you make of that character? And it was so good how they showed his relationship with his best friend. That for me, that was something. The part of the film that sums up friendship. No matter what the fuck is going on in someone's life, whether it's in this movie, Mark Kerr was going through substance abuse, and his girlfriend rang him when he jumped on a plane. No matter what, this really hit home for me in this movie. We've all had issues in life, but no matter what was going on in his life, Mark Kerr's life, his best friend never left his side, and there was potential of them coming face to face in the tournament over in Japan, albeit that Mark Kerr lost it in the semi-finals, and Mark Coleman went on to win it. And there was kind of that sub story in this movie of, yeah, it's the Mark Kerr story, but you were also telling us of the rise of Mark Coleman because he was down and out, and everyone wrote him off. And he ended up winning the tournament, kind of saving his career, making a shit ton of money for his family. Was that a good little subplot of the Mark Kerr story?
I think it was. Who's the actor that played him again?
So he was played by an actual UFC fighter, Ryan Bader, I think is his
I
name.
think his performance was probably, if not equal to Dwayne Johnson's
He,
performance
he
in
was
that
playing
film.
himself basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it reminds me of that film Tom Hardy was in called The Warrior.
Hmm.
Um, oh God, it's been so long since I've seen it. He fought his brother in the film, MMA film, UFC. Well, I don't think it was UFC. It was more MMA freestyle, and they had not spoken in a long time, and they fought, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. But his performance probably matched up to Dwayne Johnson's performance, and that he, even though
Mm.
his character wasn't a whole subplot of the film was more about Mark Kerr.
And obviously they set out that it was set in a certain time frame. I mean, we didn't even touch the movie didn't even touch on the fact that Mark Kerr has won a gold medal and a silver medal at the Olympics for wrestling. So like his history is incredible. I mean, and if you think about it, in 2015, 16, the guy had to take a job at Toyota at a car dealership. That's, he ended up, I mean, I love the bit at the end of the movie where you actually see Mark Kerr. He's in the supermarket and it's just him. And for me, it was like such a great ending to a movie. But that's what a lot of people don't realize that the journey that Mark Kerr has gone from, he's gone from 60, 70, 80,000 people, whatever it is in arenas, to working for Toyota. And then I think he got a really life-threatening disease, and you have to forgive me, I can't even pronounce it, in 2017. So I think he was raising awareness of that, but it was due through the fact that he got that from fighting and the amount of blows he took to his head, etc., etc. But I've seen many a movie, whether it's been, you look at stories of JFK, or you look at life documentaries they've done
Mm.
about people's lives. This, for me, was one of the best ones I've ever seen. Look, I love the UFC at the very, very start, and I mentioned my mate Chris again. I mentioned him on Wednesday's show when we're doing our horror, loves his UFC, and me and him talk UFC quite often when I meet up with him. And we meet up for a pint and we talk about UFC and what it was then and what it is now. And they really did go into the early days of the UFC when Mark Kerr first come into like the UFC and New Japan. You could gouge people's eyes, you could sort of thing. So when Mark Kerr lost his first ever fight, quote unquote, lost. It was declared as a no contest, and they made the point of that, of like saying he was getting to the knees to the head by a certain Alexander Usyk. A little cameo. Well, more than a cameo, I'd say. I thought Usyk did well. What did you make of him in the movie?
Yeah, quite surprised me actually. I had to click at first who it was. I was like, oh yeah, got it. But
Alexander
yeah,
Usyk. He's
nah,
been in a few films. He's
yeah, yeah.
he's done a few movies, but yeah, that was a good sub, like, telling that story of the UFC and the early days of the UFC and how it changed. And I just thought this was such a feel good. You really were sitting there thinking, fucking hell, he's been through the mill. And I think movies always hit home more when they're a true story. So sometimes you can sit and watch a movie, and me and you reviewed Black Phone 2 last week, or we've seen plenty of movies over the God knows how many months we've been doing this. 9 months that we've been doing this show now. We've seen untold movies where, you kind of suspend reality or whatever it is, whether it's doing a Marvelous Monday or whether it's doing another movie review that we've done. But when you do see things like this, and you do the war movies that we reviewed, I sat down with my good buddy Scott Hartley, and you listen
Like
to people.
warfare,
Warfare.
like this film. I turned everything off.
Yep.
Eyes on the screen, loved it.
Yeah, because this is someone's life, and as much as I love movies and as I love sci-fi and I love thrillers and I'm really getting into my horror, you love all that. But do you find that when you watch something like this, you are more focused and you are more like, fucking hell, this guy's been through it, with the substance abuse, with his girlfriend, with his best friend, from getting a job at Toyota. With I think if you go and actually look into the Mark Kerr story, he went and got a job, an everyday job, and etc.
I bet
etc.
he
And
was
that,
happier.
yeah, I bet he was. I bet if you sat down and saw him and spoke to him now, he would say that he doesn't regret anything. A lot of people say, "Oh, how do you not cope with being a fighter now, or this, and this?" And you see this in this movie. It really does tell you from where he started. Never lost. Didn't know how to lose. Didn't know how to cope with losing. They have him in the dressing room. He's crying his eyes out. Did not know how to cope with losing. To go into the substance abuse, to then going into rehab, to then coming out and still, and like you said at the very start of this review, still being the same nice guy that he always was. Yes, he had his arguments with his girlfriend, and they showed that when he ripped the door off in their house. Again, that was all to do with the substance abuse. So the running theme through this movie, I think, and for Mark Kerr is as well, if you can get people to open their eyes to any sort of substance abuse, whether it's like the drugs or whether it could be someone's in their lives going through alcohol or etc. etc. Someone's addicted to something. This movie really did show that you can go through all of that. You can lose your girlfriend. You can fucking be in hospital crying into your best mate's arms. But at the end of it, at the end of the movie, that's why I loved the bit at the end of the movie when he was just coming out of the supermarket and he turns to the camera and he says, "Hey, how you doing?" And he gets in his car and he drives off, and that's how the movie finishes. For me, that's how you do a life story.
Yeah, I mean, when I get into these life story films, when I sit down at home or go to cinema, I like to go into my what I said before, my being John Malkovich phase. I like to be that person and just concentrate on what I'm watching. I did that with Warfare. I
Great
did
movie.
that with Smashing Machine. I did that with Dunkirk, and a few other films over the years.
Mm.
But yeah, this one just phased everything out around me, and by the time I sat down, I was thinking, "Oh, film's finished." Jesus, that was pucker, and
It
yeah,
was a long, quite a long film as well. It was good, just under a couple of hours, I think, something
yeah,
like that. I
yeah,
saw it. I went to the late night showing as well, so I pretty much had the whole cinema to myself. It was really good. But we'll do our ratings out of five as we always do on these movies. Do you know what?
Give it a
Five,
five, mate.
5 out of 5 for me, mate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I didn't see there
definitely.
was no, and again because maybe because I am a sports fan, maybe because I am a UFC fan, maybe people that weren't UFC fans, maybe they might give it a lower score. They might, but I think when it's a movie and it's a true life story. Quite, you're watching a movie, but it's not a movie. If you make sense, does that make sense? You're
Yeah,
watching someone's life on the big screen. So yes, Dwayne Johnson is playing a tremendous role. Emily Blunt is playing a tremendous role. Everyone in this movie played a tremendous part. There wasn't any actor or actress in this movie where I thought, nah, they didn't do that justice. Obviously, we don't know the backstory of Emily Blunt's character. We don't know that, but when you look, Mark Kerr has said to The Rock before this movie, before Dwayne, I keep calling him The Rock, sorry, it's the wrestling fan in me. Dwayne Johnson, that this is 99.999% close to my life story. It's up. You're not watching. You are watching a movie, quote unquote, but you're watching someone's life unfold in front of the big screen. And I thought they'd done it tremendously well with you, mate. So I'm with you. 5 out of 5, mate. What do you reckon?
yeah, definitely 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
just hoping that it finds its place once
Why
the
is it
awards.
flopped? I mean, flop's probably the wrong word. Why has it? I mean, me and you were talking, for those that don't know, we work together. We were talking at work not long after you told me you went and saw it, and you were like, oh, Burrows, this film hasn't done that well in the box office. Is it purely because you have, I don't know, do you feel you need to be a UFC fan to watch it? Do you need to be, I don't
You don't
know.
need to be a fan of any genre, what film you want to watch on the big screen or at home. I think it's all about promotion. I mean, I didn't even know nothing about this film until I was thinking, oh wait a minute, Rock looks, sorry, freaking
Hmm.
Dwayne Johnson. Sorry,
The wrestling fan in
oh
us, mate.
screw it, I'll just say The Rock. I didn't see anything about this film until I see a picture of him looking. What's he done to his face? And I was thinking, oh, he's doing a film.
Hmm.
So I've seen people think, I've seen behind the scenes footage where they put prosthetics on his face
Yeah, he don't put it on his Instagram, didn't he?
and they sprayed his tattoos off and put like the new ones on.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I'm just hoping it finds its place once it's released at home and hopefully it gets some recognition at the awards. And yeah, I mean, as I said before, when Brendan Fraser did The Whale, I've not seen that. I've not
I'm
seen
gonna
it
have to
anywhere.
see this movie now. Can you
I've
buy it?
not I've not seen it anywhere to buy
Oh,
anywhere. So
yeah, he
I
won
don't
an
know.
Oscar for it.
Yeah, and he won Best Actor for it.
What's it about, briefly?
Basically, he plays an obese man. He gets put in he gets in a suit and all that lot, and his relationship with his
It's a true life
um,
story, right?
I think it is, and the
Okay.
relationship he has um with his bloke guy, and I think his partner passes away, and he gets nursed and that, and he becomes morbidly obese, and I've not seen it, and he won an Oscar for it. I
Well,
think he beat Austin Butler at Elvis to the race on that one, which it didn't get nominated for a single thing.
and you look how good that you look at how good the
Oh, that
Elvis.
quality.
And I'll tell you what I can compare the Smashing Machine to is what I up there with me was the Freddie Mercury story, the Queen Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh,
That for me was one of the best documented life stories movies that I've seen. Obviously, Freddie Mercury wasn't around when it was made, but the fact that that movie for me, it was basically the lead up to Live Aid. I'm putting the Smashing Machine up there with that movie, and for me, that Bohemian Rhapsody movie, the story of Freddie Mercury and Queen, is one of the best documentary style life stories of all time. Elvis as well. I'm not a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah,
Watched the
I
movie,
thought
watched the
Elvis was
movie, and
better.
I loved it.
I thought Elvis was better than Bohemian Rhapsody, but I
Yeah,
just don't understand why I didn't get anything.
mm, yeah. I mean, let's hope the
Austin Butler
smash.
went through all that change, and
Let's hope the Smashing Machine does. I
oh,
mean, like
I'm
you say,
hoping.
I'm hoping it does. I mean, I'm going to go and I might even try and grab it again on the big screen. I'll definitely be getting it when it comes out on
When's the
Blu-ray.
Oscars? April time, isn't it?
April time, yeah. So I think the nominees come out around usually around end of January, beginning of February. Like you kind of see who's nominated and then yada yada yada. I think it's
When's the Golden Globes?
ooh,
That's before
okay.
the Golden Globes, and then I think
Chat
yeah,
amongst yourself,
you got
viewers.
the Golden Globes, and then we've got our own version of the Oscars, which is the what do we call it? The Orange Film Awards or something like that. The
Mm.
BAFTAs, and then you got the Oscars.
6th of January is the Golden Globes.
Yeah, so we'll
So
probably
January
find
time.
out. We'll probably find out, hopefully, in the next month or two,
Mm.
if it's going to get any recognition.
Well, yeah. No, I hope it does. Look, Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, everyone in this movie, tremendous, tremendous movie. Anyone watching this that hasn't seen it, and we've kind of spoiled it, but go and
Just
see
try
it.
and skip past The Rock and look at Dwayne Johnson. Keep The Rock at the back of your head. Just focus on Dwayne Johnson as a person and his character, and you'll see he's much more than a wrestling gimmick.
Yeah. Honestly, this film was absolutely tremendous. I absolutely loved it. John, been good. We've had you.
Yeah,
You've been on twice this week, mate.
I know.
Unheard of, mate.
Overtime.
I know overtime. I know. Well, either that or the missus is away and she's let you out to play a bit. I don't know what's going on. I'm only joking. Really good to have you on, Johnny. We'll have
Yeah,
to get you back
you
on for
too,
a
mate.
marvelous, our next marvelous Monday, dude. If you're around, we are going to sit down and review Doctor Strange. We've made it up to movie 14 of the MCU universe. Doctor Strange is one of the shortest Marvel films as well. I think it's like an hour and 38 minutes or something like that. So Doctor Strange is coming up next Monday for
Yeah.
Marvelous Monday. No doubt myself and John will be hitting the cinema again. You got anything coming up, mate, that you're going to go and see? Running Man. I think I put the
Yeah, I
Running Man for
booked
the
the
12th of
Running
November.
Man. I
I
booked
think
the
I've got
Running Man, and then I think the 20th odd anniversary of Kevin Smith's Dogma.
yeah.
You've not seen it.
Back to the Futures hitting the
Yeah,
screens again.
1st of November. I'm probably watching it on a Saturday.
Yeah, so
It's a bit of a slow. Yeah.
we're coming into the Christmas season soon, so everything will be on the
Would you
cinema
watch
again. Home Alone, Die Hard, they'll all
it
be.
the Dairy series?
I'm gonna. Coming on Disney
Okay.
Plus. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. We'll probably try and get a review. I'll get you and Neil and on that one, mate, because you guys are the horror gurus.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate everyone tuning in as always. If you want to check us out on YouTube, uh, just type in Completed It Podcast, where you'll find the little logo that's behind me. You can go on X at Completed It Pod. You can go on Facebook, type in Completed It Podcast, so you can find us there. Like, subscribe, all that good jazz. But we'll be back next Monday with Marvelous Monday when we sit down and talk all things Doctor Strange. But John, thanks as always, my man. I'll catch up with you soon. But
Yeah.
till next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe.
Feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of daily life? Struggling with anxiety, stress, depression, phobias, fears, or just trying to get yourself back again? Discover the transformative power of focused solution hypnotherapy and counseling. Through guided hypnotherapy, relaxation trance allows your subconscious mind to access your inner resources and strengths you didn't know you had. Book your free consultation today and let's start your journey together. For more information, please email Sharon at scm-therapy.me